Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In a stupid environment that we nowadays live, which is this is the first this appointed as, this is the first this getting that job, this is the first this, from certain kind of groups. We witness history being the first blah 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 being appointed as the, I don't know, U.S. Chief of Staff and all that. We witness history, the breaking of the record of this and that. Somehow, that stupidity doesn't apply to Djokovic, which, gets me to a certain kind of, how should I put it, a question, or at least makes me very weary. Why is it so? It seems like this person here, who's promoted by the Telegraph, actually, has a problem with Djokovic being good as he is. And he sees Djokovic being so good and dominant as a problem. And somehow, if you remember when it was Serena Williams, and she was about to win her 23rd Grand Slam, if I remember correctly, everyone wanted to see history in the making. Everybody was jerking off in certain countries, how fantastic that would be if she would win more than Steffi Graf. I think she won 22, Grand Slams. That would make her the GOAT. No, it doesn't. But anyway, they like that. It's the first historical event. Everybody was like happy about it. Now Djokovic won his 23rd Grand Slam, and he's gonna win more. And he was banned due to visa issues related to COVID vaccination, if you remember correctly. He couldn't show up at, I think, Australia and in New York. So he could have won more, potentially. So I'm gonna show you this Weasel's title or headline promoted. Why? Because it's put forth by the Telegraph, which I agree with people's opinion, but you can sense a little bit of jealousy here, to say the least. Tennis has a Novak Djokovic problem, and a solution needs to present itself fast. Now, what do you think? What do you think? This is from today, the 13th of June 2023. So tennis has a problem with Djokovic because he's too good. I read the whole article, and this is basically what this guy says. Djokovic is too dominant, too good, and people will get bored, therefore is not going to watch, so tennis is going to lose money. And a solution, and he thinks about a solution, what I could identify, a real one that he promotes, this guy Simon Briggs, is maybe someone will become a very good and beat this 36-year-old guy. I think he's 36. And he's kind of like, God damn it, these guys won't go away. Mr. Simon Briggs thinks. Well, this is what he thinks. And then the other problem would be solved, the solution, if somehow he just quits, just goes into the sunset. But he won't. All right. And then another thing, if he would have been, I'm just guessing, okay? I'm just guessing. If he would not be Serb, let's say he would be, let's say, American. Do you think the same question Mr. Briggs would ask? Or let's say would be British. Do you think the problem would be? Would be any problems? A problem for tennis? I don't think so. Then we would be witnessing history in the making. Everybody with two hands. Oh my God! Oh, it's you. My bad. Okay, that's how it would be. It's so insulting. It's so obvious. These guys don't like Djokovic, and not only because I think he's, but I think because he's not. And he destroys everybody else's legacy. But Djokovic is very humble. He was asked in a press conference if he thinks that he's the GOAT, great of all time. And you know what he said? He didn't answer like Serena Williams or other classy tennis players born and raised in a loving environment and inclusive environment and all that. No, he answered this way. He said it would be insulting for me to claim that. Insulting to other great players from other generations, from other times. like John Borg, McEnroe, you can call him, and others, even Stase, which I like a lot, and others, Federer or Pete Sampras or Agassi. He said it would be insulting, sorry, I use, or Steffi Graf, to use a female. Okay, now you got it. So, I used her because I liked her attitude and I liked her as a sports person in a way that she didn't embarrass herself, she didn't embarrass her country, she didn't embarrass the public, she didn't embarrass her family. She would behave like a lady, I would say. Like, you know, you see boxers who respect themselves, or martial artists like George St. Pierre, for instance, or Federer, Emelianenko, another one. Not thugs like, you know, people from, like Diaz brothers. Give me those guys. Oh, don't tell me. But Diaz brothers, you can't call them martial artists. They are fighters, and that's fine with me. But George St. Pierre, you can call that guy a martial artist, or Fedor, a martial artist, and many more. I admire these guys the most, I would say. There are some others too. So let's go back to Djokovic. So Djokovic did not dare to call himself that way. I guarantee you, and watch interviews with, as I say, yes, Serena Williams, and see how she answers and how classy she is. Obviously, I have a displeasure towards that a person because of her behavior on the court and outside of court. Am I entitled to have my opinion and preference? Very good tennis player, very good. Now, I don't know, I don't want to go into other things, but let's move on here. So, Briggs says that if this French Open has taught me anything, it is that the tennis world is in denial about the scale of its Novak Djokovic problem. From the get-go, at least this guy tells us that, hey, it's a big problem on the other. Nothing like history in the making, tra-la-la-lu-lu-lu, nothing. Personally, actually thought he was going to lose. People actually thought, no, they're delusional. But anyway, that's what happens in Ukraine and Russia as well. Delusionals. Yes, Ukraine will beat Russia. Not Ukraine, it's not Ukraine fighting Russia. It's United States and other weasels, like 30 other countries. What are you talking about? To Carlos Alcaraz, a guy who went on a hot streak. Now, all good for Mr. Alcaraz here, and all bad for Djokovic. Like, Alcaraz is the star of this article, not Djokovic. A guy who went on a hot streak of at the US Open when Djokovic was absent on visa grounds. Hey, give us more information about that, Briggs. But had not gone beyond the quarterfinals at Roland Garros. Why not? And it wasn't only the punters and bookmakers. There were dozens of analysts, stupid, coaches and former legends, stupid, arguing that Alcaraz would cruise through Friday's semifinal on the back of his creativity and exuberance. Well, I think hard work and diligence and brains and the quality beats creativity and exuberance. And that reminds me of Ilie Nastase, the Romanian tennis player. He was a magician, but he didn't like to train. So you could tell that he was fantastic in his time, but he got lost because there were people training harder than him, not so creative and exuberant and rude, but he lost eventually, obviously, because of that. The talent gets you to a certain extent. You need more. You remember, 1% inspiration, 99% transpiration. But then I went back to the most frightening page on the internet, the one you see when you call up the Tennis Abstract website and ask for the list of Djokovic defeats at majors. The message was clear. Barring illness, accident of Rafael Nadal, Djokovic is untouchable. To expand slightly, his CV shows 4 losses at the slams since he resolved the elbow issue that dogged him from around 2017-2019. So he lost only what? 4 losses. That's it. 2 of them were inflicted by Nadal at Roland Garros, which is on clay, and Nadal is, or used to be, the king of clay. So he lost from the only combination of circumstances that the mature Djokovic has ever struggled to overcome. So anyway, I'm not gonna go further than this. It's just that this guy is just upset that he won and the other guy lost, but he is not right here. And then the disaster. You see, talking about the game between Djokovic and Alcaraz. The stadium was agog for 2 hours. The air sizzled both with heat and with excitement because Alcaraz was winning, according to these guys, I guess. And then disaster. Just as the contest seemed to be approaching a crescendo, which Alcaraz was rendered immobile by a cramping calf. So that's why Alcaraz lost, basically. Personally, I don't think he would have won anyway. Yeah, the only way he was staying on tennis on terms with Djokovic was by performing minor miracles, point after exhausting point. So this is a guy, this is Alcaraz, is a fantastic, this is just a lucky guy, old dude who's sneaky, and he wins just because there's no competition, because somehow the other guys are not working hard. And here, right here, unless Alcaraz matures faster than I am expecting, the only things that can stop, why do you need to stop? You don't want to see history? Djokovic are a loss of motivation or an injury to his apparently ageless body. This is like a make-believe. I want him to retire, maybe accident, maybe someone's going to hit him in the head with a club or something. So if you want an image of tennis future, imagine Djokovic's ASICs, trainers bounding to and fro on every kind of surface for many months to come. And we, Mr. Buddy Briggs, or whatever your name is, Simon, we will witness history on our times. Remember? History on our times, when the guy came from the Munich conference with Hitler, Chamberlain, the then Prime Minister of Great Britain. Remember on the when he landed in Great Britain with that little paper, history of our times, and Hitler was the same with this guy. Yeah, it's gonna be like this. But you see how they turn it. If this would have been Andy Murray, yeah, for me, compare that with Djokovic. Take it easy. Look at the facts, okay? Don't be all heart and how do you call that? Patriotic here. Be patriotic, but use this as well, okay? Andy Murray, look how many Grand Slams he won. Look at Djokovic, okay? Don't make me show you now, okay? We're not into debating that. We talk about this guy. So Simon Briggs, if that Andy Murray would be in Djokovic's spot, I guarantee you would not hear that. The problem of tennis, you would hear history in the making. I guarantee you that. And you would hear probably others talking about Murray, but you will not hear them because they were not promoted by the Telegraph or CNN or Agence France Presse or I don't know, BBC and so on. You know exactly what I mean. Well, I hope he wins 50 Grand Slams. How about that? In the next 1,000 years. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.